welcome back, or welcome if you're new. I'm Catherine with A Perfect Place to Start, and in today's video we are going to make something really fun with an old cookbook. So let's jump in and get started. Alright, so I went ahead and took out the inside of the cookbook. Now this is really nice because it already has dividers for you, and since we're making a planner, we're going to just use these the way that they are. The only thing that we're going to change is up here at the tab, because we want to make the tab the month. So I'm going to go ahead and take out the actual recipe book part, and we're just going to be left with our dividers. So I took the inside of the cookbook out. These are all the recipes that were in each of the dividers. And I just wanted to show you guys that the copyright is 1970. So this is a pretty old vintage book. The 70s happen to be my favorite decade. So I am not going to alter anything on these dividers other than the tabs. I really like the pictures and the colors because this says 70s to me. And then the really fun part on the other side of the tab, it gives you information from whatever that section of the cookbook was. So I'm not going to alter the back of this either. I'm going to leave these the same. However, when you find your cookbook, if it's not like what you like as far as pictures or what's on the inside, you can customize that by putting other pictures here. You can use clip art, you can use stickers, you can use paper, and then you can customize that to be the way that you want. But we're going to spend a little bit of time doing our tabs. I'm going to be using several sticker books today. This one is coming from Hobby Lobby, the Paper Studio. I happened to get this on clearance, but I do know they still sell this brand and they do sell sticker books. The other sticker books are from Happy Planner. If I can find them, I will link them down in the description box. So we're going to start out, I thought this yellow color kind of complemented the pictures and kind of gives a 70s vibe. I am going to cover this part up with one of these like solid stickers, and then we'll go back in with some stickers that have the months. So all we're going to do is take our sticker and we're going to cover our wording. Super easy. We're going to do that on all of our tabs. Alright, we are ready to do the month labels. Now I did not have enough to get through a year for these yellow ones, so when I run out of the yellow ones, I just went to some pink ones, and at the very end these gray ones would be different tabs for something else. So I also have these stickers from Hobby Lobby, and they currently sell this one there. I do know that because I recently bought this for a different planner, but these have like the days of the week. They also have numbers if you're going to create like a monthly planner, and then they also have some that have the months. So we're going to be using, I think, these gold ones, maybe the black ones, but we're going to just stick them over the paper. And I'm going to start this planner in August, since August is coming up. Now most of our paper is going to get covered up, and that's okay. We just didn't really want the wording to show through back there. So if yours doesn't look like mine and you think that you probably don't have enough wording here and you don't really want the other sticker, you can do that. One really handy tool when doing like these kind of things or planner things that have these like really small numbers is you want to get a pair of tweezers. These came in a set of, I believe, 3 from Hobby Lobby, but I'll link some down below if you want to pick those up. But I absolutely love using tweezers for any kind of sticker projects, especially small stickers in a planner or something like that. It's just a lot easier to be able to place it where you want, especially because I have nails. But if you don't have nails still, it's easier to kind of get a straight line because you're able to move it without sticking it down. So we're just going to line it up so we have some paper showing on each side. And then we want to make sure we line it up so it's somewhat even. And then we'll press it down. So we'll go ahead and go through and do all of our dates. Okay, so we have, these are finished, and so we're just going to go ahead and put these back into our cookbook holder. All right, so we have our dividers and we are ready to do the inside. I'm not going to do anything to the outside of this. I feel like this was a really awesome find, this cookbook, just because it was in such good shape. There is nothing wrong with the binder portion of it. There's nothing wrong with the spine. Like, this was a really good condition cookbook. So I'm not going to alter this in any way, but you could if you wanted to. I did think about possibly putting a pocket on here or something like that later. I haven't really quite decided yet, but as far as like putting any paper on here or altering like what it looks like, I'm not going to do that. However, if the one that you pick up, or if you just have like an old binder in general and you want to do the same thing, you could always cover the inside with paper. You could use wallpaper, Dollar Tree wallpaper, anything like that could cover the inside of this, but we're just going to leave it just like this. For the inside of our planner, I'm going to be using this Happy Planner. Now, I know someone's going to be like, that's a perfectly good planner, and it is. It is a totally perfectly good planner. We are going to keep the cover because the cover can be reused. So we're not going to be doing anything with that except putting it away in my other covers. And then we're going to take out the inside. Now, I had originally started to try to use this, like I decorated May, and I think that was as far as I got. June didn't get decorated. And the nice thing about this particular planner is that it was undated, and so there's no, I can use the ones even though I labeled this as June, there's nothing in it, and so I'm gonna go ahead and be using this. Now, this is a spiral bound, and we have a 3-ring binder bind, so we're gonna have to cut off the part where it's the disc bound part, so we're gonna be using our paper cutter to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and just remove all the pieces of this planner and set them aside so we can put them in. So I'm going to set these discs aside. I have a bag full of discs. We're going to go ahead and put them in this bag full of discs. I have quite a few, so we're going to go ahead and just add them to our collection. If you're a Happy Planner person, you know that you can keep these and reuse all of the pieces for other things. So it does actually kind of help with the cost of buying the planners if you're a Happy Planner person, just because these can be reused, the disc can be reused, the bookmarks can be reused, so we'll be reusing those in something else later. So the next part is to use our paper cutter and to trim off this area. So you could do multiple pieces, and this is like a pretty thick cardstock, so I'm just gonna probably go slowly because I don't want to make any mistakes, but we're gonna take our paper cutter and we're going to slip it in here, and all I want to do is trim this part off. So I think I'm just going to line it up to the very edge here. That would end up taking off about 1 inch. So if we go the other way, we can go just about a 1/2 inch into that. And we're just going to cut that off. So that leaves us with this On the other side is our calendar, so we still have the calendar piece, because when we cut this piece off, it'll end up looking like roughly that. So we'll still have the full calendar. So we'll go ahead and start cutting our papers apart. Okay, so I have all the insert pieces cut, and this was just, I cut some holes here to give me a reference, but I'm going to go ahead and use some of the inside pieces to put on the front of our like divider piece. So I went ahead and cut off the holes, but as you can see, it's a little bit shy of what this outside piece is going to be. So what we need to do is add a little bit of paper here. If I was going to go to the edge here, leaving like a border, I would still have this piece. And I remembered I had these like sticker papers. They have an adhesive back, and so I think I'm going to use some of these. These were just in my stash. If I can find them, I will link them down below. I've had them a really long time, but all I'm going to do is kind of add this to the side here, and I'm just going to measure like this, coming down to the bottom with my scissors. I'm just going to cut off. Now, if you don't have these stickers, that's totally fine. You can use a piece of paper and a glue stick. All we're going to do is lay this down. Now, you might be wondering why I chose to kind of cut up this planner that I already had. It was in perfectly good shape, and it was, but I haven't been using my planner, and so I thought that this would be a really good way to use up something I had in my stash that's not just sitting here. So a little thing about me, a little fun fact about me, I am definitely one of those people that buys things that I really like and then I save them for a rainy day. And I'm really trying hard to learn that rainy days are for every day, that it's okay to use the things that you have. You can get more, you can enjoy it as a special thing for that day. I really am trying to like enjoy the moment. And so as much as I liked this planner, I like cooking and cookbooks more, and I thought that this would be a really fun way to use up something I already had and give myself something that I was really excited to use. So if you're like me, you have things in your stash like that, I totally encourage you to get out there and use them. So here's our first one, and I just wanted you guys to see what it was going to look like when we put it in there. So we already did the dividers that we had, and we put our months. I went ahead and cut off the month that was here because it's a little bit longer than this, and so we don't need to have 2 Augusts. But I'm going to use my Crop-A-Dile because I cannot find my regular hole punch anywhere. But we're just going to use the biggest hole that I have, and we'll go ahead and cut our holes. These aren't quite as big as the 3-ring binder holes, so they fit pretty snug in there. If you have the 3-ring bolt, like the one that's small, I recommend that. I didn't, so we're just going to use a regular hole punch. But once we put it in there, there's the first part of our calendar, and then we'll go ahead and do the second part of our calendar. This is going to be a little bit longer because these squares, this one had like a notes section right here that we were able to cut off on this side, but this one doesn't have anything that we can cut off, so it's going to hang over a little bit, and that is okay. It'll still work just fine. So because I don't have the hole punch, I'm just using one of the inserts as a guide, and I'm just lining it up with my paper, trying to be even on both sides and then flush with the bottom down here. And then I'm just using my Crop-A-Dile again, and I'm going to go in and try and poke in the middle of the hole. I did really good on 2 out of 3. So we'll go ahead and kind of repunch that one. There we go. All right, so we'll go ahead and put this in. And then we have our calendar piece. This fits really nicely in here, like in terms of the calendar part, and you still can have a full-size calendar. And then when we close it, it's gonna hang off a little bit, but that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and leave it like that. I'm gonna go ahead and do all of the other ones for like in terms of this part. So I'll be using a piece of the cookbook, and then we'll be using these sticker portions, and we'll go ahead and add those together and put our divider tabs together. All right, we have all of the little tabs ready, and these are the ones that have part of our calendar. So if you are using a repurposed calendar or something like that, and your calendar has tabs that already have a front, you could just do this with the front instead of using these. Or if you're going to print off your own calendar, so you use your like just from your printer, and it's going to look something like this, you probably don't need to do this part because you would just be using the front of this. So you would glue your calendar piece to the front here. Since I went ahead and used the dividers from the Happy Planner, when they print those on the side of the tab, part of the calendar. So we had to do that for this part. So that gives you an idea of what you could do for a tab divider as well. If you're not repurposing one and you're making this totally from scratch, you could just use scrapbook paper, create whatever you want on the front using recycled materials or whatever, and then go here. If you're making a journal and you don't necessarily want the calendar piece, that's okay too. Like, we're going to use this as an example. These could be like journal prompt pages, so you could just put these in like that. Or if you just wanted to have plain paper or something like that, like a junk journal would work good for this too. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and we're just going to come in here. We already kind of put this one together and put our thing there. So we're going to go ahead and continue to do that with all of these. I already poked all the holes, so all we have to do is assemble. Now this is a tad bit of a time-consuming project, so if you are going to make one of these, you know, listen to a book, watch some TV while you're punching out your holes and gluing or whatever, but this does take a little bit of time, but I do think it's worth it because this is turning out so cute. But we're just gonna go ahead. I kind of tried to put these like different colors back so we didn't have like all the pinks or blues or browns together, so that way they're kind of what's the word, intertwining or mismatched, I don't know. Anyway, all right, so we'll go ahead and continue doing this and get to all of the calendar page parts. All right, we have all the inserts in and we're ready. It's getting nice and big. I'm super excited to use this. Now, question, you guys let me know in the comments down below, but what would you use this for? Would you use it as an everyday planner, a journal? I was kind of thinking like a meal prep journal or calendar planner. Yeah, you guys let me know down in the comments, what would you use this for? So what we're gonna do, we have our tab, and then we have our calendar, which I haven't put any of the dates in yet, and then we have these sections. So what I thought, I feel like the beginning of this needs a little bit of the insert of the cookbook, so I'm just going to take the very beginning This was in the front, and it also is like an index. So I'm just gonna put that in the front here. And then in here, so each of these tabs was something. So this one was appetizers. So, and thinking about it, I should have put on the front like the first page of every one. I didn't do that, but hindsight, I guess. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna come into the area where like the weekly part is, and I took some out that were the appetizers and beverages, and these come in these like little booklets. So they're like a little booklet of recipes in here. So what I did was I just took them apart, and I just want to have one of the pages. So we're going to put one page between each of these, kind of as like a little divider, and then you get recipes, and we're going to do that for each of the weeks. Now we're going to decorate it a little bit, and I'm using the Happy Hostess Happy Planner sticker book. I don't know if they make this anymore, but they have tons of food ones. So they have this Happy and Hungry. They have an actual food one. This one is just for planning, like if you were doing an actual planner, but they also have actual recipe ones. The same. They also have this food one, and then this accessory pack that has like a shopping list and other little food related items. So they have quite a few food ones. I'm not gonna do a ton here. I'm just gonna sort of decorate this a little bit. I think I am gonna try to use the Happy Hostess, and I have a few of these sticker sheets that probably could be used up, so we'll go ahead, and this one kind of matches, so we'll use the little banners. We're gonna add one more thing here to the back, and I have these recipe cards. I think they came from the Dollar Tree. No, they came from Target Dollar Spot. We're just gonna kind of glue one, kind of covering up this area. Any of the lines and stuff that we don't really need. Now you could put whatever you want here. If you're just like printing pages and making your own, then you would just put whatever you want. But I thought it might be fun to like try a new recipe or something right here. And then we're gonna add some food stickers. These kind of go with this little pear, so something to celebrate. This was so fun, and I had so many more ideas as we were crafting along together today, so I'm looking forward to moving on with those later, either in a video or just in this planner on its own. Let me know if you liked this video and if you would like more of these altered book kind of DIYs. If you want to keep crafting with me with using books and book pages, check out this video next, and I will see you over there. Bye!